Welcome Raiders, my name is Jesse, but you can call me Rogue. Today I'll be doing my favourite Pokemon using the ultimate favourite Pokemon picker. I'm going to start off with the favourite type first, and my favourite type is fighting, but Ghost is a very close second. And I'll be going from Gen 1 across to pick the favorite, then Gen 2 across to pick the favorite, Gen 3 across to pick the favorite, and so on. I'll be doing try to not repeat either. So my first pick for normal is Snorlax. He's always been my favorite. My uncle got me into him when I was very young. Pidgeot is a close second though. For fire, I've always loved Ninetales. I don't know why, but just always loved Ninetales. I love Arcanine, Rapidash as well, and Charizard of course, but Ninetales has always been my favourite. Water, Blastoise all the way. He was my first starter ever, back when I was younger. Grass, I will say Venusaur as well. Don't know why. Just love Venusaur. Electric. I'm going to go with Jolteon, I think. Do like Zapdos. And of course, Pikachu. But Pikachu's overdone, I reckon. So, definitely Jolteon. Lapras all the way for Ice. Like, I knew that. I love Lapras. Fighting type, I'm going to go with probably Poliwrath. I would have said Machamp, but as of recently I've used a Poliwrath in my last playthrough of Gen 2. I'm playing through Soul Silver currently, and I'm using a Poliwrath, which decided to change my mind. Poison, I'm going to go with Nidoking. Again, another reason is because I'm playing through Gen 2 and I'm using a Nidoking currently. For that, I probably would have said Arbok because I used Arbok years ago. But yeah, as of recently, Nidoking. Ground, I suppose I could say Nidoking here. Nah, Cubone. Nah, Cubone all the way. I've always loved Cubone. Flying type, because I chose Lapras for Ice, I'm going to say Articuno. Articuno was my first legendary that I ever caught. Psychic, you got to say Mewtwo, I guess, yeah. I do like Slowpoke and Alakazam, but I guess you got to say Mewtwo. Bug, Scyther. If you don't pick Scyther, there's something wrong. One of the best bugs of all time. Rock, I don't know. Aerodactyl. Onix is pretty cool, but too weak. I do like Golem. I used a Golem a few years ago. But I'm going to go with Aerodactyl. Ghost. Oh, there's only one clear choice here. There's Gengar. Dragon again. One clear choice. Dragonite. Dark. Oh. Right, there's no Gen 1 Dark types. I forgot. Missing no. Steel type. Magneton. Fairy, I guess Jigglypuff. Starter, my favourite starter is Squirtle, again, because I chose Blastoise for the first playthrough I've ever done through Pokemon when I was like 5. Gimmick form, yeah, I'm not really into the gimmick form, but I guess this is X. I think this is Charizard X. Black and blue is my colours, so I'm going to choose black and blue. Although I love Mewtwo, Articuno is my favourite due to being my first Pokemon of all time. And my favourite Gen 1 Pokemon is Lapras. Gen 2, Noctowl. Noctowl is one of my favourite Pokemon of all time. Fire type, Gen 2. I'm not using a fire type currently in my playthrough. I'm going to say Houndoom. Houndoom reminds me of my dog that I've got right now. She's a bit of a demon, Mazakine. Water type, I'm going with Suicune. Again, one of my first legendaries I ever caught. There's not many good grass types in Gen 2. Celebi's pretty sweet. But I do like Bayleaf. Bayleaf's a really cool design. Better than Meganium. Electric, I'm going to say Raikou. Lantern's pretty cool. Ampharos is pretty cool, but Raikou definitely. Not many ice types again. So I'm going to say Delibird. Delibird's pretty funny. Funny looking. Heracross. Let's say bugs. I could say Heracross here. But I do love Scizor. No, I'm going to go Steelix here. Scizor here. And Heracross here. Heracross is also one of my first shinies I ever caught. I caught one recently. My second shiny Heracross ever. Crobat, you're silly if you pick anything else, I reckon. Ground type. I suppose I could say Steelix here. Nah, Donphan. I like Donphan. Flying type. I already said Noctowl. Let's go back and see Noctowl. Do I want to change anything? Yeah, I'm going to change Ferret here to for Noctowl. My uncle's best friend who I grew up with, his nickname is Ferret. So, his name is Alan. So, in my playthrough of Gen 2, I have a ferret named Alan. Flying type, I'm going to change to Noctowl. Psychic, yeah, I'm going to go Lugia. Gales of Darkness, I think it is, on the GameCube. I really enjoyed that game with Dark Lugia. That was pretty cool. Or Black Lugia, I can't remember what it was called exactly. Tyranitar all the way for this one. Ghost, oh well, that's a hard choice. Oh well, that's even harder choice. Umbreon. I would have said Houndoom here. Yeah, I'm gonna say Umbreon. I don't really have any connection with any of the other Pokemon. Entei's pretty sweet. Typhlosion's alright. Ho-Oh's not bad, but no real connection with any of them. Azumarill. I've got a shiny Azumarill in my Scarlet and Violet playthrough. That was pretty cool. My first shiny on Violet. My favourite starter is Totodile though. There. And my favourite gimmick form, Hellhound, is pretty sweet. Houndoom. My favourite legendary here will probably be Suicune. And my favourite of all, that's a hard choice between Heracross, Crobat, and Noctowl. I'm going to go Noctowl. Owls are one of my favourite animals of all time. Really good. No really good normal types in Generation 3, is there? Swallow and Slacking. I'm going to go with Slacking. Fire type, Blaziken, for sure. My favourite fire starter of all time. Water type, Swampert. Yeah, Swampert. I reckon, and Sceptile. Hoenn starters are just probably the best, honestly. Best trio. I do love all three of them, but Blaziken is my favourite, and it is my favourite fire starter of all of them. Manectric. Galele, I guess. Breloom's pretty cool. I used a Breloom in my Emerald playthrough. I do like Breloom. Seviper, because of the anime, mainly. Ground, I'm going to say Flygon. There's Dark Lugia there. There you go. My favourite flying type will probably be Altaria. I don't know why. I've just always liked Altaria. Gardevoir for Psychic or Fairy. No, I'm going to do Fairy. And I'm going to say Metagross. Do I say Metagross? Yeah, I'm going to say Metagross here. I do love the Eon duo. They're pretty sweet, but yeah. No real connection to any of these. Ninjask is pretty cool. Is that Ninjask? Or is that Ninjask? Shedinja. Sorry, Shedinja is pretty cool. I'm gonna say Aggron there. Ghost. Banette. Banette's pretty cool. I do really like the Mega evolution for Banette. Dragon all the way is Rayquaza for sure. Absol is my favourite dark type. One of my favourite dark types of all time. Probably my favourite dark type of all time. Steel. Do I say Metagross here? Metagross. You know what? I'm going to go Latios. Latios. Metagross here. And Gardevoir there. My favourite starter. Although Blaziken is my favourite fully evolved starter, Mudkip is my favourite starter in this generation. And my favourite gimmick form is Absol. Although I really like Banette's Mega. And my favourite legend is Rayquaza. I think you're silly if you choose anyone else. And my favourite here is Gardevoir. I do love Hoenn. One of my favourite generations. So many good Pokemon, but Gardevoir is definitely my favourite. Favourite normal type in Sinnoh, which is the game that I played the generation I've played the most. I've had 4 playthroughs in it. I've played Pearl, Diamond, Platinum, and then I played Shining Pearl. And I used a Staraptor every time, but I believe I'm going to have him here. Yeah. I'm going to have Staraptor here and Bunnieri here. Lopunny here. Sorry. Infernape was probably my first Sinnoh starter. I used it in my first Pearl playthrough. Then I used an Empoleon, which I really like. And then a Torterra in my most recent. In the Platinum and Shining Pearl, I used Torterra. Was one of my best Pokemon ever. And just jumped up my list a lot. I used a Luxray quite often in Sinnoh as well. In the early stages at least. Ice types, I'm not real fond of all of them. I do like Frostlass. Frostlass is pretty cool. Lucario's my favourite here for sure, but do I want anyone else here? I'm going to have Magneton here and Lucario here. Poison, Drapion. I had a Drapion in my Shining Pearl playthrough named Hanzo. Pretty sweet. He actually soloed a couple of gyms. Gliscor here for sure. One of the best shinies of all time as well. Psychic, Gallade. I used a Gallade in my playthrough of the DLCs of Scarlet and Violet. It's the first time I ever used a Gallade, believe it or not. Even though I've had four playthroughs of Sinnoh. Yanmega. Yanmega's pretty sweet. Spewing, it's not a dragon type. It should have been, but so be it. Again, not real fond of any of the rock types. Rampardos is pretty cool. I had a shiny Rampardos on Pixelmon on Minecraft. Spiritomb's pretty sweet. I had a toy of Spiritomb when I was younger. I'm going to say Giratina here. I do like Garchomp, but Cynthia's Garchomp turned me off. Garchomp. So I'm gonna say Giratina. Darkrai all the way for Dark. One of the best legendaries of all time. Well, that's a hard choice. Togekiss. Turtwig is my favourite starter here. Favourite gimmick form, I guess I'm gonna say Mega Lucario. My favourite legendary is Darkrai. As I said, one of the best legendaries of all time. And my favourite of all of Sinnoh will be Lucario. Generation 5, I've actually never played a playthrough of Generation 5. But my favourite is Winter Form Sawsbuck. My favourite fire Pokemon is Chandelure because Ghost has Golurk. I don't know why, I've always liked Golurk. So Chandelure is my favourite fire starter. For water, I'm not real fond of any water type. So I'm going to choose probably Oshawott. I was a little bit disappointed in Samurott, but Oshawott's pretty cool. My favourite grass type. Do I choose Sawsbuck here? Do I change? I guess Simisage. I don't know why, I might be the only one. But I kind of don't mind the elemental monkeys. Zeb Striker is my favourite electric type in Generation 5. Again, another one I'm spewing never evolved. It didn't evolve again, sorry. Ice type, I'm going to say Beartic. My Uncle Bear got me into bears just at a very young age. His nickname is literally Uncle Bear. So, bears are one of my favourite animals. Fighting type, I'm not real fond of any fighting types again in Generation 5. But I don't mind Terrakion or Cobalion. Cobalion, I'm going to go. Poison type, Garbodor. Garbodor is pretty sweet. I like Garbodor. Ground type, do I go Golurk there? Nah. Ground type, I'm going to say Crocodile. Flying type, Archeops. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. But, again, I had a shiny in Pixelmon. It's pretty sweet. Not a very good shiny, but still pretty cool. Psychic. Ranunculus. Ranunculus is pretty cool. Bug type. Volcarona. Volcarona is pretty cool. I've used a Volcarona in Scarlet and Violet playthrough. Or do I do Archops here? Archops. And change. I do like Emolga. Emolga's pretty cute. Dragon type, Haxorus. And again, one of the best shinies of all time. Pretty sweet shiny. Dark type, Zoroark. Always like Zoroark. I was a fan of the movie for Zoroark. Steel type, Bishop. Only because recently in Scarlet and Violet they got King Gambit. And King Gambit's a pretty sweet Pokemon. Whimsicott, I guess. Again, not a big fan of any of them, but Oshawott's pretty cool, so I'll go Oshawott. Giant Garbodor's pretty cool. Favorite legendary, I'm gonna say Cobalion. And my favorite of all, do I say Zoroark or Sawsbuck, Chandelure, or Garbodor? I'm gonna say Garbodor. I do like Garbodor. He's a pretty sweet Pokemon. Oh yeah, this is with the Mega Evolutions. I'm not gonna put Mega Evolutions at all here because they're in the gimmick form anyways. So I'm going to say for normal type, Pyroar. Again, I've never played a playthrough of Generation 6, X and Y. I only got back into Pokemon after Generation 4, in the most recent game, Scarlet and Violet, but I did go back and play a little bit of Sword and Shield. I'm currently in a playthrough of that. Talonflame is the best fire Pokemon, one of the best fire Pokemon of all time. Greninja is pretty cool using it in Smash Brothers. Grass type, Trevenant, or Go-Goat. I'm spewing it doesn't evolve, and I would have rathered it having another evolution with a different typing as well. But again, it's still a really cool Pokemon. Heliotile, Ice types again. Not many choices. I guess Aurorus. Is that it? Fighting type Pangoro. Pangoro is pretty cool. Poison type, well, Dragalge or Scalp. That's it. Again, there's not many choices. Ground type, I guess Zygarde. Halucha's pretty cool. I do like Halucha. Malamar. Malamar's pretty cool. Vivian, I guess. Well, actually, I do like the Pokeball Vivian. Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum's one of the best fossil Pokemon. One of the best fossil Pokemon of all time. Aegislash. Aegislash is one of the best ghost Pokemon of all time. I guess Goodra. Goodra's pretty cool. Favorite Dark type. Oh. Do I change any of the fighting types or the psychic types? Not really into any of the other Pokemon. I guess Malamar, and I'll change to Delphox, I guess. Steel type. Oh. Alright, well, Aegislash there, and Ghost, Trevenant. Oh yeah, of course. Fairy type. Xerneas. Xerneas is pretty cool, and it's based on the Viking World Tree. Yggdrasil, if you don't know what it's called. Finnegan's probably my favourite starter there. It's pretty cool. I'm a bit disappointed in the evolution of Delphox. Gimmick form. Again, my favourite Mega is Absol. So I'm going to choose Absol, I guess, because it doesn't matter. Xerneas. And my favourite here would be either Go-Goat or Talonflame. I'm going to give Go-Goat some love. Talonflame's a very, very close second, though. Toucannon's pretty cool. Salazzle's pretty cool. Wishy-Washy's kind of cool. I like the idea of Wishy-Washy. Decidueye's probably the best, if not second best, to Torterra for grass starter of all time. Vikavolt is pretty sweet. Alolan Ninetales is so good. I guess Marshadow. I'm going to go Angry Marshadow. I don't know the difference, but Marshadow's pretty cool. Poison type. I guess Naganadel. Naganadel's pretty cool. Is this Zygarde again? Isn't that a Zygarde? I'd love a Mudstale in real life. Flying type, or do I do Toucannon there and have... I guess Beware here and Toucannon here. That's a hard choice, I guess, because I do like Lunala and Solgaleo. Necrozma, not so much. Ultra Necrozma is pretty cool. Solgaleo, though, I'm going to go. Buzzwole. Buzzwole's just a weird Pokemon. I do like it. Lycanroc, one of the best Pokemon, but I do like Dusk form the most. Dalmise is cool. I do think it should have had a evolution where it was a whole boat. Oh, but Mimikyu. What about Fairy? No. Mimikyu here. Zygarde? I think it's Zygarde. Alolan Grimer's... Muck is sweet. I do like Muck. Even back in Generation 1, Muck was pretty cool. Steel type... I guess I'll do Solgaleo there and Lunala here. Favorite starter, Rowlet. Favorite gimmick form, Obviously, Ninetales. My favorite legendary, guess Marshadow. Marshadow's pretty cool. And my favorite of Generation 7 is definitely Decidueye. Like, I do love Mimikyu. Mimikyu is really good Pokemon. But Decidueye is one of the best grass starters of all time. Weird is pretty cool. I'm going to go back and play Legends Arceus. I haven't yet, but I will be doing that soon. And I'll be using a Weird I reckon. Ghost. I'll be using a Hisuian Zoroark. Fire type, I'm going to say... Although Fire Rock is one of the worst type combinations ever, I do like Arcanine. Arcanine's sweet. Basculegion's pretty cool. Don't know why, just like it. I haven't used it or anything, and I probably won't because I'll be using Zoroark, but whatever. Rillaboom's really cool. Electric type, I'm not really fond of any of them. Toxtricity I really wanted to use in Scarlet and Violet. I started using it and I just wasn't a massive fan. Glastrier. Do I do Zamazenta? Or Grapplock? Grapplock's cool. I don't think it gets enough love. Yeah, I'm going to go Grapplock. Grapplock's pretty cool. Poison type. I guess I'll do Toxtricity here. And Boltund here. Ground type. Runerigus. Runerigus has a really cool design inspiration. I'll be explaining that in one of my later videos. Corviknight. Corviknight's one of my favourite Pokemon of all time. Simply being a Raven. And I also used it in Scarlet and Violet. Hatterena. Rock type. Well, I guess I could do Arcanine here. Yeah, but I'm not really fond of any of the others. I guess Hisuian Typhlosion's sweet. So yeah, Arcanine. Again, little disappointed in the typing, but really cool. Dragapult. Dragapult's one of the best pseudo-legendaries of all time. And being Ghost is pretty sweet. Dark type, I'm going to do Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl's pretty cool. Fairy type. Zacian's pretty cool. I don't know what the different forms are called, but I like this form. Berserker, obviously being a raiding Viking. My favourite starter in this generation will be Grookey. Grookey's cool. Would probably be... Oh, Hisuian Zoroark, of course. The regional form of Zoroark. Probably the best regional form out of all. Favorite legendary, I guess Spectria. Spectria's pretty cool. And my favorite of this generation is Hisuian Zoroark. And Generation 9, the Pokemon game that got me back into Pokemon. For the DLCs, I would have said probably Farigiraf. Gave some much needed love to a forgotten Pokemon, but after the DLCs, Blood Moon Ursaluna is really cool. Fire type, I'm going to say Armarouge here because I want Ceruledge here, unless there's no good... Nah. So I'm going to do Skeledirge here, Armarouge here, Ceruledge here, and Annihilate here. The water types, I was not fond of any of them playing through this. So I guess I'm going to go the Tauros. Tauros has always been a really cool Pokemon. Yeah, little disappointed in the forms, but really cool still. My favourite grass Pokemon in Generation 9 is Meowscarada. I used a Meowscarada in my playthrough. And I also used a Pawmot named Pikachu. Pretty funny. Baxcalibur's pretty cool. I used Baxcalibur in the playthrough as well. I was never really fond of any of them. Clodsai's just a derpy little guy, so I'm going to choose Clodsire. You know what? I'm gonna do Blood Moon Ursaluna here and change that to Farigiraf. I think Farigiraf needs a little bit more love. Killer Watch Rules is pretty cool. I'm just spewing you don't get it earlier, and it would have been better probably with another evolution. Bug type, low kicks. I also used a low kicks named Annihilus. Minecraft, Garganackle, I think. Dragon type. Guess Baxcalibur I'll change here and do Titan. Dark type, I'm going to choose King Gambit, and then Steel type, Tinkerton, and Fairy type, Fluttermane. I was not disappointed in Fluttermane. It was pretty cool. My favourite starter is actually Fuecoco, like by itself. Fuecoco was pretty cool. I was very disappointed in Quaxley. I really thought they were going to go the Sailor route, not Dance route, but I do like all three starters, like first stage starters. Just really, really disappointed in Quaquaval. Gimmick form, I'm going to choose Tauros again. Favorite legendary, I actually really enjoyed Ogerpon in the DLC. Like, fighting Ogerpon was pretty cool. And my favorite here, Ceruledge or Annihilate. I'm gonna say Annihilate, I reckon. Yeah, Annihilate. Annihilate's just a really cool Pokemon. And a much needed evolution for an old Pokemon being Primeape. So my favorite of all normal types is Snorlax. My favorite fire type is Blaziken. My favorite water type is Blastoise. Again, Blastoise was my first starter of all time, so I gotta choose Blastoise. I didn't realize there was so many starters here. Just makes sense, I guess. They do grass starters really well. And I am gonna have trouble choosing between Torterra and Decidueye. I'm gonna have to go Decidueye. No, I'm gonna have to go Torterra because I haven't used Decidueye yet. I'm really, really like it. But Torterra I've used twice. My favorite electric type, I'm gonna have to say Luxray. Again, Luxray I used quite often. My favorite ice type is Lapras. Easily. My favorite fighting type is Lucario. Easily. My favorite poison type is a little bit difficult between Nidoking, Crobat, and Drapion. I'm gonna say Drapion because of Hanzo, my Drapion in Shining Pearl. I'm going to choose Cubone. Cubone is just a really cool guy. Come on. Who doesn't like Cubone? My favorite flying type, I'm gonna say... Do I say Noctowl or Corviknight? I'm gonna say Corviknight. My favorite psychic type is easily here, Mewtwo. Bug type, I have Scyther, Scizor, and Cleavor. But I like Scizor the most, I reckon. Rock type, my favorite here is Tyrantrum. Tyrantrum's just a really cool Pokemon, and probably the best fossil Pokemon. Favorite ghost type, Ceruledge or Hisuian, Zoroark, or Gengar. Gengar. I gotta give love to the OGs. Generation 1 where I started, where a lot of people started. Dragon type is Rayquaza. Like, come on, man. Rayquaza's so good. Absol is my favorite dark type. I knew that already. Steel type, my favorite is either Metagross or Berserker. I'm gonna say Metagross, although I do like Berserker. I've never used a Berserker though. Fairy type is Gardevoir, of course. I said that earlier. My favorite starter is probably Turtwig. Although Squirtle is a very close second. My favourite gimmick form is Absol. I kind of forgot regional forms count as gimmick form. Absol. Gotta say Absol. My favourite legendary is Articuno because it was my first legendary of all time. Rayquaza and Darkrai, very close second and third. And my favourite Pokemon of all time is Lapras. I already knew that. I will explain in a later video why Lapras is my favourite. So my favourite bird, regional bird, is Hoot Hoot. My favourite mammal is probably Centret. Regional bug is Caterpie. I've always loved Butterfree. Pseudo legendary Dragapult or Metagross. I'm gonna say Metagross. Pika clone is Pawmot. No, wait, Mimikyu counts. Okay, well Mimikyu for sure. I didn't know Mimikyu would count. What the hell? Because it's not electric type, but Mimikyu definitely. Favorite evolution is Umbreon. I had a shiny Umbreon, which I was very happy with, but I lost it. I think it was my diamond playthrough, and I got it traded by my cousin, but I lost it. My favorite fossil is Tyrantrum. Favorite regional form is Hisuian. Zoroark. Ninetales is a very close second. My favorite, what's this? Gigamax. Gigantamax. Gigamax. I'm not that fond of the Gigantamax forms. Garbodor, I guess. Garbodor's pretty cool. Favorite baby is Lucario. Favorite box legendary is Rayquaza. My favorite mythical is Darkrai. My favorite Ultra Beast is Buzzwole. Just a weird looking Pokemon. It really is. Favorite Paradox Pokemon is... I was never really a big fan of any of the Violet ones. I think they just made them too much like the others. I'm going to say Fluttermane. Fluttermane's cool. Favorite Pokeball has always been the Safari Ball. I don't really care about this, so just that, I guess. Favorite Vivillon is the Pokeball. Alcremie, I guess the cake. And oh, this is different. New Evolution. There is a lot of good ones. Definitely a lot of good ones. Crobat, Scizor, Steelix, Roserade, Annihilape, Gliscor, Ursaluna. I'm gonna say Annihilape though, that's one of the best, 100%. And for my team, Lapras, Blaziken, there we go. Blaziken is my starter Pokemon. Lucario, Gardevoir, Corviknight, and do I say Absol or Snorlax? I'm gonna do Mega Absol, since I don't have a Mega or anything. So that's it, I think. Yep. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.